Hey everybody, Lucas here, and what we're going to focus on today is how to use a really cool add-on to Google Forms called DocAppender, and how you can use that to either take student notes, whether it's for conferencing, or whether you're going to do students and peer reviewers on Google, or if you want to do some peer observations with students. And so you're going to use a simple Google form just like this one, where you maybe have student name with a drop-down list, um, and then you're gonna have maybe the project name, what's awesome about it, some questions and ideas that they might have, or how can we make this better, and what are the next steps. So you can either fill this out as a teacher, or you can also fill this out as a student. And what's gonna happen is when you fill out this form, it's going to automatically make a nice, neat little table with the timestamp, the name, and the answers to your questions in a Google Doc. And so in each of these docs, you can have it set up by hour and have all of your students have their own Google Doc. So that way you can be a really easy way to bring up this information whenever you need. And so this is just a test one. I didn't actually go to class with JT, but those are some questions that I would have for him. But before you get to this nice doc, what it's going to be is we'll start from the beginning. So in Google, I made a folder called 2018-19 Conferences. So I set it up initially with hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, and you could do this for any hours that you have. And the legwork, though, the part that's going to take you a little bit of time at first is going to be setting up these classes. So right away, I'd come in here and I needed to make a doc for each one of my students. I did this simply by making one for myself and then pushing make a copy, make a copy, make a copy, and then I just renamed them to the students that I needed. Once that's done, I would do that for all my class periods. And like I said, that would take a little bit of time, but overall, I think it's going to be worth it in the end for you. Then what I need to do is I need to create a form. So for example, in here, I'm going to make just a couple new, just a couple new docs so you can see what I mean. And so as this loads, I'm going to call this one, once again, just Lucas Gatto, my name. Awesome, that's done. And so once that's saved, I'll exit out, and that should pop up here for me here in just a second. Once that happens, what we're going to do is create the rest of our student names. And so here's my first document. I'm going to right click it, make a copy, and I can do this as many times as I needed for however many kids in class that I have. And once it's created, I'll just do 2 here for a second because it's being a little slow. I'm going to just rename it to another student of my class. Sorry about that. John Johnson. Okay, once I have hour 2 set up and I have all my students in there, I would come back to here. Now I want to use this exact same form in order to use in the other classes. So I'm going to make a copy of the form quick. Once this copy is made, I'm going to open it up. And here it is. This is now a separate one. I want to make this though for my hour 2 classes. So I would change this to hour 2. I would get rid of this excess information, change this to hour 2, so that way it's all nice, neat, and organized for me. However, you notice now that I don't want the same exact group of students, but that's going to change for us as we import the students from other classes. So here is an example. I had what project they're working on. So if they're working on different types of projects in class, the students can name them. A little bit easier to keep organized. What's awesome about it? So what's cool, what's good? Really enjoyed this part of your project. Questions and ideas that I might have to help you make it better, or how can I change it? And then next steps moving forward. And these questions, you can make whatever you need. You could certainly use this in a special education setting when you're tracking student behavior with teachers. It'd be a great thing to be able just to pull up during conferences with parents and have all those nice, neat tables together. So you can let your imagination run wild here. But what I want to do then is I need to get the the add-on called DocAppender. If you don't have that, you could just open up a new tab, type in DocAppender, and the first thing that pops up should be for you Google Forms add-on DocAppender. And I would click on it. For me, it's installed because I already have it, but yours would say Get Add-on. And so you'd click that, you'd be good to go. This little puzzle piece should pop up for you right here. So once I have that puzzle piece up, I'd click on it and click on DocAppender. I'm going to open it up in the sidebar, and now we're off and running. So the first thing that's going to ask you when it pops up is where do you want the information to go? So I'm going to pick from Drive, which folder do I want this to sync with? So it might take a second to load, but when it pops up, I'm going to want to connect it to that Hour 2 folder because that's the one that this form is for. This is Hour 2 form. I want it in that folder. I believe it's right here, but just to be safe, I'm going to open up my Conferences folder, click on Hour 2, hit Select. So now that's going to link Hour 2's folder to the form. I hit Next. I'm going to refresh my list here. What that's going to do is it's going to give me where do I want to pull the information from? I want to pull it by student name. And so I'm going to click Student and say Save and Populate. And so what that does for me, you're going to notice here in the form, is that it's going to have however many students I have in this folder back here. So I have Josh and Lucas. Those are the names that are going to pop up here. So if I have 2, it works. If I have 30, it works. That all works great for you. I would probably have this as a drop-down menu because it's more organized, a little bit cleaner for you to use. And I would also probably have a form for each hour of the day that you have, so that way you don't have a list of like 140, 150 students. That would be a little hard to manage. So this would be more organized for you, a little bit more manageable. Once that's done, I just click Next. It's going to ask me what questions on this form do I want to have in there. First and foremost, I want to have a timestamp, especially if it's about student behavior that I want to talk to parents about during conferences. It'd be a great way to say, hey, on this day at this time, this is what I was seeing. Or if you're doing that student review, peer feedback, it'd be really nice to know when was it actually submitted, when did the student receive the information. I also want to have the student, so whose name is it? The project, what's awesome about it, questions, and next steps. So I'd just click them all. And then down here, you have a couple options. You can either separate by bullet list, rows, vertical tables. After working with Lona Newbarth on this, she's the one who turned me on to this idea. We decided that vertical tables was our favorite, and that's what we wanted to use. So we hit enable, and now you're going to be pretty much ready, set up, and good to go. So once that's done, I want to test it out. So I exit out of it, and I'm going to try this out. So what I get, I'm going to choose the student, choose myself. Project is going to be test project. What's awesome about it? Everything. Questions, ideas. Maybe how else can we use this in class? And your next steps. Email me your ideas. Awesome. So once I submit this, I'm like, cool, it's good to go. So now as a teacher, when I'm back here and I would go to my Hour 2, I want to look up Lucas Gatto. And now in here, I get an awesome, sweet timestamp and a nice table of everything that I want. And so every time that you submit a form, right, whether I did another one or not, now that I'm in Hour 2, I can choose whichever student I want. If I were to choose myself again, what would happen is that they would just stack on top of each other. So you'd have this one right here. Next time I did one, it would pop below it, so on and so forth. So it's a really cool way to organize all of your ideas, your thoughts, whether it is keeping a log of student observations. It could be for a particular set of skills. It could be for behavior. It could be for peer observations with one another. It could be for peer reviews. There's just a lot of different ways that you can use this in class. And so that is called DocAppender. And that is how you can organize it better for student notes, peer reviews, etc. Thank you. Hope you have a good day. Bye.